up, everybody? This is Oscar, your health plan coach, and I've got another episode today that you're going to want to listen to. Jeff Stokes is with Goosehead Insurance, and I know you probably heard from other insurance guys, but you're going to want to listen to this episode. I hope it comes and brings you value. Check it out. It's coming up next. Hey everybody, this is Oscar, your health plan coach, coming back in for another episode of Expose Your Worth. Today I have brought on a very special guest. He is Jeff Stokes with Goosehead Insurance. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Hi, Oscar. How are you doing today?
I am excellent. Thank you for asking. We've connected on through a Bold networking group before, so I found that a lot of people have a need for different types of insurance products, things like that. But tell me a little bit about right now what Goosehead is doing and what you guys are all about.
Yeah, so best thing about Goosehead is we're nationwide. We're the largest independent insurance agency in the U.S. My actual position is I actually bought a franchise, so I'm actually an agency owner. So my actual company is Stokes Insurance Agency, but I do business as Goosehead Insurance. So I got all the backing behind Goosehead. So I mean, I've got swath that goes basically all 50 states. So I mean, it doesn't matter if you're here, if you have rental properties in Colorado, wherever. My network, as far as just from Goosehead, trickles out all over and spider webs all over the U.S. So it may not be me that's your quote unquote official agent in like Colorado where I'm not licensed, but we'll have a Goosehead agent that is licensed in there that you can speak with. I would still have access to your account so I can help with any of that information. But yeah, no, Goosehead is basically the largest um, personal lines. So your home, your auto, what I call the toys, which are basically boats, motorcycles, RVs, stuff like that. Those would be considered your toys. That's where about 80-ish% of our business comes from. It's just from the personal lines.
Well, I mean, so why did you pick Goosehead? You probably and we're going to go a little bit about what you've done before, but like what's important to you about Goosehead? What kind of made you want to be an owner?
Well, so I was kind of my background is I was in the oil and gas sector for 15 years. And obviously, as most people have realized over the last year, their lives kind of got uprooted during COVID. And I wanted to kind of move into something that I thought, had potential. I had a great guy that was my insurance agent in Dallas. But yet I live here in Oklahoma City. He was licensed here in Oklahoma, worked with them for 15 years, played hockey with them, stuff like that. So anyway, he was great. But looking at it, trying to get carrier appointments and stuff like that, that sometimes is hard. And you have to have a proven track record, stuff like that. And I like the whole choice model. So I went independent, which is what Goosehead is they're an independent broker. And long story short, I mean, I could have went with State Farm or Farmers or Allstate, but then again, you're captive to that one person or to that one company. By being captive, that's the bad thing is, if that client doesn't fit, your risk profile, all of a sudden, your premium may jump 20-30% year over year. And a client's going to look at you and go, why? Well, I don't have any other options for you. So no offense, but you either pay that or you go shop. So I went with Goosehead again because we represent over 35 carriers here in Oklahoma. I have over 55 carriers in Texas. And if somebody's rate jumps 20-30%, hey, I'm going to move you on to somebody that does like your risk profile. Maybe it's a 10% jump over what you paid last year, but it's better than that 20 or 30% jump you had with XYZ insurance company. So
No, I get that. I mean, a lot of people when they do shop around, that is the most in insurance, and probably in my field too, in health insurance. That is the most unpleasant experience that most people can have is to shop insurance.
yeah,
Um,
well, and a lot of things is people are like, well, I mean, what do I need? And it's like, okay, well, let's take a look. Do you know what like on a homeowner's policy, you have coverage A through coverage F. Do you know what coverage A is? Most people are like, well, no. Do you know what coverage B is? Well, no. C, D, E, most of the time it's no. So whenever I get a new client, doesn't matter if they've been a homeowner for 50 years or if they've been, this is their first home, I go through and I explain to them what coverage A is all the way through F. Same thing with auto insurance. Most people are like, well, hey, I got full coverage. Well, that just means that you have comprehensive coverage and collision. So if you're ever in an accident or which is the collision piece, or the comprehensive piece is acts of God. So like a deer running out in front of you, a tree falls on your car, stuff like that. Those are acts of God. That all that means is that you're covered in those events. Now there's always limits, and people don't understand what those limits are. And we like to walk through that. And most people are like, well, I just want the cheapest insurance I can possible. And it's like, well, I hope you understand that, like in auto insurance, if you go from Oklahoma state minimums to the next step up, it's not going to say, state minimums are $100 a month. They don't just go by increasing it, double that. If they go to 200, may go from 100 to 150. You go to
Right.
the next level up, it may go from 150 to 170. Go to the next level up, it may go from 170 to 180. So it's not like a linear progression. So
So when people kind of shop insurance, I mean, is it people kind of some people, and this probably all varies within the customers that you service or that are that you end up working with. But some people want to make it, where they just shop online. They don't want to talk to anybody. They don't want to talk to anyone. They want to find that cheap price or that lowest price. And is Goosehead a little bit different, or is there similar experiences where you can kind of go online and get a quote?
no, I mean, you can go online to any of our websites. You can fill out your information. We're still going to want to talk to you because there's several things that we need to know. Most of the time it's like, do you have a trampoline? Because there are certain insurance carriers that if you have a trampoline, hey, sorry, we don't want to underwrite that risk. Do you have a pool? Okay, cool. Is the pool fenced? Yes. Does it have a diving board? If it has a diving board or a slide, yeah, sorry, we don't like that risk. The other big thing are animals, dogs. There are certain breeds that they don't, want to write with. And, most people are like, well, yeah, we know pit bulls, they get a bad rap, or Dobermans or whatever. Well, even German Shepherds are in some of those carriers because, again, I mean, police have used them for, what they're supposed to do. Dogs are great. They'll do whatever their master commands. But again, um, each insurance company is going to be picky on what they're going to want to write with. And we just want to make sure that we have that conversation. The next thing is, also deductibles. I had a lady that she really wanted to use USAA. Well, I wrote her a policy. My policy was $100 more expensive than what she got with USAA. The only difference was um, if she had a peril, the first $5,000 was coming out of her pocket with USAA. With me, she was coming out, if it was wind or hail, it's going to be a $2,000 deductible. Anything else, it was going to be 1,000.
Hmm.
So she was going to save a lot of money over time, but she wanted to go with USAA. And I said, hey, I completely understand. I just want you to know, make sure you understand if you have any type of peril, which is a loss to your home or auto or whatever, that's what a peril is, um, that, the first $5,000 is coming out of your pocket.
Mhm.
And some people, if you have that money in the bank, hey, okay, we'll write that type of deductible. If you just want to, have low deductibles and transfer most of that risk to that insurer, hey, let's go ahead and, lower those deductibles. But we want to have that conversation to make sure we customize your policy for you, and you understand what you have, and b, that you like the policy that you have in front of you.
I think that's a good point. I mean, so many people when they buy a policy, it happens in health insurance. You end up kind of getting something that you're not really sure what you got. Then you get, whatever incident happens, you become unhappy with the thing you got because you didn't understand it, and you might not have had anybody who walked you through all your options. Because I mean, as agents, our job is to know risk. We want to mitigate it, right? We want to make sure you avoid things that are risky. So I think it's important that we have guys like you in place, as guides to make these purchase decisions. Because once you purchase a policy,
for some coverage, if you don't understand how it works, you're going to be probably surprisingly disappointed, when something happens that you didn't expect.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what a lot of people say. Is most of the time whenever people have a um, bad experience with insurance. I'm just going to use Oklahoma as an example because we'll just do auto insurance, right? Um, what most people don't understand is the state minimums for Oklahoma are $25,000 of bodily injury per person, with a max of $50,000 of bodily injury for the entire accident and $25,000 of property damage. So if you and I were in a car and, we were driving my car and I had the state minimums and I hit, Harold Ham's Bentley, right? And completely total out his Bentley. Um, and no offense, Harold's a nice young man. I've met him once or twice. But he's not the young spry guy he was a few years back. But we'll just say hypothetically, he has $50,000 bodily injury, and it's just him
Mhm.
in the car. Well, by me having state minimum coverage, does it go past the $50,000 of bodily injury for the whole accident? No, it doesn't. However, it's one person that was in that car. So by him having more than $25,000 of bodily injury, now I'm on the hook for that 25, that extra 25. So even though I may have quote unquote full coverage, hey, there we are. Well, now the other piece of this is I totaled out say $150,000 car, his $150,000 Bentley. If I have the state minimums of $25,000 of property damage, well, that other $125,000 is now on me to pay for. And the insurance company is just going to look at you and go, sorry, this is what you're covered to. So here
Sure.
I am, one accident, it's $150,000, all because, I didn't want to pay that extra $60 a month, to make sure that in the event something happened, I might have been looking down at my phone, brakes could have failed. I mean, you name it. Um, you just, I don't know. I'm a risk averse person, so
Yeah.
I just don't want to I want to make sure that my clients understand, hey, in the event something happens, let's just make sure that we're covered. I'd rather, you spend more now than have the accident and now you're being sued by somebody and, you know, they take everything you own from your house to your cars to, everything else there is.
Gotcha. No, I understand that. And obviously, you obviously like what you do. You know what you know your products. You know your the ins and outs of what you're talking about. Is a lot to know, but it's obvious that you know what you're into. So, one thing that I want to make sure everybody understands too is what do you like to do outside of mitigating risk for other people?
Yeah, no. So, kind of my backstory is even though I live here in Oklahoma, I went to UT for a semester and
You know?
um, got told didn't need to come back because I was chasing those beautiful college co-eds before I settled down and got married. But no, I'm originally a Texan and I really love Oklahoma. I never thought I would say that being a Texan because there's always that UT-OU rivalry.
uh,
But no, I mean, I think Texans and Oklahomans are a lot alike. I mean, we have a humble arrogance about us, which I've seen Texas has kind of gotten away from, but Oklahoma still has it. The other side is coming into this state. You figure that, hey, I'm Texan. We were a country before we were ever a state. So you kind of, like I said, walk around with that kind of humble arrogance about you. But everybody's always welcomed me here. And my last few years living in the northern part of Dallas, it was not the type of Texas that I grew up in. My friends seem to be more of, hey, what can I do or what can you do for me? Not what can, calling you just, hey, I hadn't seen you in a couple of days or a couple of weeks. What's going on? Which Oklahoma still has that. I still have friends that I haven't seen in a week or two, and they're like, hey, haven't seen you at church. Is everything okay? Are you doing all right? Or hey, just haven't talked to you in a couple weeks or a month or whatever. Got busy, but I just want to check on you, make sure everything's all right. But no, outside of this, love to go up to OSU, watch my kid whenever they do march in the band.
no,
Watch OSU football team, but also watch the OSU marching band because my kid marches in the band, and
perfect.
then I do a lot of yard work because I take pride in my yard. And then between running, cycling, and playing ice hockey, I think that kind of rounds out rounds out my life. I was an avid Orange Theory person until
Oh,
COVID hit, and again, your life kind of gets uprooted and turned around. You have to make some adjustments to your life and what you can spend money on and not spend money on. So
I hear you. No, I hear you. And that Orange Theory is no joke, man. I've tried this, some of those workouts. That's a serious workout.
they are not for the weak-hearted, I'd say.
No, no, they're not. Not at all. Well, listen, to wrap things up, tell everybody here, how can we get a hold of you, know a little bit more, maybe we can reach out to Jeff.
Yeah, so you can call me or text me on it's called my office phone, but it's 405-803-8132. Like I said, I take calls or texts there 24/7, 365, usually between the hours of midnight and 4 a.m. I do sleep. So please don't call me during that time.
Yeah.
But or you can shoot me an email. It's Jeffrey, JEFFREY .Stokes, STOKES @goosehead.com.
We're going to make sure we got the ticker down here where it does show that information. Also in our show notes, we're going to have all of Jeff's contact information. So Jeff, I appreciate you coming on the show. I hope everybody does get a chance to, when they need some consultation, some guidance, they do reach out. Maybe just to even be a connection and be a network connection with you is also important. So again, thank you very much for coming to the show.
Hey, thank you, Oscar. And yeah, as for any of your clients or whatever, just give me a shout. Advice is always free. You don't ever have to pay for anything. We can always shop your insurance. And then from there, the only time you pay is whenever you say, hey, let's do this. So again, Oscar, hey, I appreciate the time today, and look forward to seeing you here in the next couple weeks.
You got it.
Have a